Good late afternoon, everybody. I have a really very interesting. Let's just get right into it. Um, yeah. So I was brushing my teeth. I have to do that a few times a day. And another message came through, and it was revealing the mystery of why there's idolatry with the sun, stars, and planets. So let's get into it. So, astrology and get it together, camera. These three have a lot of connection. What's fascinating, though, I usually like to say this because someone else told the story of the beginning. The generation of Isis. There was a league of people who led this generation into the deception that we're in, and we're all cracking the truths. I'm so proud to be part of a group of people who are cracking open the truths. So, this whole ISIS influence. Okay, so let's get into it. Planet Saturn. Why is it idolized? We see it with Nike. You guys also see it with like Subway. Subway has the S, right? And on the Y of Subway, I think it's... So people think Devil's Tail, but all those have correlations to Saturn. I hate to do this, but remember a certain particular Democrat was running for presidency, and you saw this in her logo. Was that it? Oh no, it was the middle of the H went here. You guys saw that? So it's really funny. I'm reminding myself why I did not vote for Hillary Clinton. Because if you guys see the H when she was campaigning, there you go. And my camera went clear as a whistle right now. This is why many of us did not vote for her. All right, so here are the characteristics of Saturn. We have the rings, which are made out of ice, and also they were made out of dust. So when we think of ice, we think of like the secrets of Antarctica, we think of secrets to life, and out of dust came man, right? So the rings of Saturn made out of dust. You have Adam. Adam is attached to generation Isis. This is why that worship came from Saturn, because it wasn't our father that created Adam. So that was a revealing of one mystery. 62 moons Saturn has, right? 6 plus 2 equals 8. But also in the planetary alignment, Saturn is the eighth one from the sun. And that's also Omega, right? You see the two side Omega, or Pan. An ability to defend against the outside world, meaning that the outside has no influence. This has a greater influence on everybody. You can't corrupt or destroy it. The people who idolatrize Saturn, they believe it's the true path, and Many fail to see the benefits from their perspective. Many of them see it as a blossoming of a system. And all the noise outside. All right, and so in the Hindu astrology chart pertaining to Saturn, I thought there was a correlation because the Hindus had a way of using Saturn's energy or using Saturn's influence to defy their mythologies, and they had characters like this Shani person who moves slowly just like Saturn. So you realize now why there was an earthquake in Indonesia, why there's been so many earthquakes in Indonesia in the past year, because you had an epicenter of an influence that harvests itself since the beginning into a certain place and time. So this is karma. They say it represents a shadow, old people, wealth, and fame. Those who do worship this will live long, and we can give you any type of checks or money or whatever you want, any houses, but this is why you see a lot of celebrities with a humiliation, embarrassment, divorce, they got cheated on, or they're shamed in public intentionally or embarrassed publicly. That's the reputation for life. But they will live long. And then there's different systems. Saturn is just one system of so many. But I'm just uncovering the one that was the most. People think Saturn represents justice, and depending on your deeds, you will be justified. That's also the meaning of judgment. So the people who do this whole Saturn worship, they really do think that there is a judgment day, and their deeds will free them from destruction. That's what you were told in the Old Testament. You will be judged upon your good deeds and, blah, blah, and blah. Moving on. So this is all in one. The sun is a star. The stars are stars. So we won't get too much into detail about the different stars. But anywhere you see like Carl's Jr., right? Del Taco, they have a sun. Almost everywhere you see has a sun somewhere. Why do they adulterize it? Even in ancient Egypt, you saw, their headdresses, but then you saw them with a halo. A lot of Catholics who have their saints, they always polish them with a halo. Why is that? Here you go. Basic identity, self-realization, passing of basic statistics, overall vitality, meaning that you would be watched over. The sun can be directive, represents reason as opposed to instinct. So if your actions and your instincts are for or against, but it is justified, you're following the lead of your boss. The sun represents the here and the now. We hear that a lot. The moon represents the past, where we have... Oh, I'm sorry. This is why we haven't gone to the moon again. You see the crescent moon all the time. What looks like a crescent moon? Creation. Creation was the past. Right? So many people may think the moon was son or daughter of Saturn. Remember that. Yep, if you did something or something occurred years ago there, we don't talk about it, we keep it secret. It's in the past, past is the past. Sorry, my neighbors. This always happens to me, right? I have to close my door. Story of my life, you guys. The enemy exists, but this message will get posted. So the stars and the sun have psychological biases. It's a form of acting out. See that connection? Being proud, creative, and self-centered. I looked up the behavior and characteristics of the sun, and this is what came back. So I'm just pointing out the connections of both. And that's where I'm going to wrap up the video. I also